welcome back to another TERA Plays TERA video. Alright, so in today's video we are going over the TERA Console patch notes that just came out on today. This update was released a few hours ago and I wanted to talk about it. It's just a tiny patch that came with maintenance. I was way too tired to sit down and actually record the video, and I'd get ready to work and I just didn't get it done. So I do apologize. I'm coming out a bit later in the day with it. The game will be going down for maintenance by the time this is released, probably like anywhere from 5 to 4 hours, and it is to fix one thing. But the notes will be linked if you want to read anything. Maybe you haven't been playing for a while and you want to see some of the changes, or maybe you're just wanting to listen to me rant like usually. The first thing is they are making battleground changes. Debuff resistance to stuns have been increased 2 times. The reaction resistance has been increased by 1.5, and the PvP defense increased by 20. And that is just overall common changes. As well as Corsair Stronghold, the matchmaking has been decreased from a 15v15 to a 10v10 to help those queues pop a bit quicker. And the HP of the outer, inner gate and the core has been increased by 10 times. If you haven't noticed, last patch note, I didn't talk too much about battlegrounds because I don't do it. I'm looking at maybe getting into it a bit more often if I can. Maybe I'll post some videos about it, but typically I don't do PvP on TERA. It's not been a thing since I've really been playing, so that is going to be a large learning curve for me. But the devs have actually done a lot of cool PvP changes. Definitely check out last week's patch notes and read through some of those changes. They've made a change to training ground. Basically, priest buff didn't give attack speed before. It wasn't actually calculated correctly, and now it is. Next, we're going to go into our dungeon changes. For overall hard dungeons, or hard 1 dungeons, so this is strictly for both Hagufna hard 1 and Arcanine hard 1. It's when you go in and you interact with the little orb in the middle. I'll have a video coming out tomorrow showing the difference of Hagufna hard versus hard mode 1. And it just kind of shows the difference of the gameplay, how the dungeons differ. They're making a change overall. They are increasing the defense. They are increasing the critical resistance. They are slightly decreasing the critical power. And Priest's self res, like the res on the priest, as well as Mystic's Vow, will be both correctly affected by the healer debuff, which is a 10 times cooldown multiplier. I will be curious when I go in with healers to know if that is after their total cooldown or before total cooldown, because if it's after total cooldown, if you're running full cooldown, then it doesn't affect. And I don't know, that's something I think the devs need to look into, because then a mystic running full cooldown isn't going to be affected by this. And I don't know, maybe that's what they're going for, but I feel like if they're trying to make this harder and they don't want people to instant res up, maybe we think about, instead of affecting our healers as much, more affecting the DPS. I think it might be cool if they change this to that if someone dies for 20 seconds you do less damage, or maybe when you die and then res up, the next time you die you can't res until 30 seconds after you've been dead. I think they might achieve their goal a bit better that way, but again, we'll have to play it out and see how it works. For Arcanine specifically, the HP of all bosses has been slightly increased. The overall boss attack has been slightly decreased. Additionally, attacks on basic attacks that can be blocked during Enrage has been slightly decreased. And for the first boss, the bombs were meant to be decreased in HP. They actually made a mistake. This is what's going for maintenance tonight. Like I said, this will happen after this video is out. They were meant to decrease the bomb's HP, but I guess they probably did something weird with the code where they decreased the HP of the bombs, but then instead of increasing each boss specifically, they increased the HP of everything overall, which now made bombs actually get an increase of HP. I want to say it's roughly about like at least 3 to 5 times the amount. I went in and just messed with it a little, and usually I was able to break a bomb within like an aerial and blade frenzy pretty quickly. And this time when I went in with the same healer and tank that I usually go in, no one helping me on bombs, because usually I go to one by myself. Sometimes me and a friend, when our main group, go to a bomb together, but still, yeah, it's roughly within one aerial scythe, maybe one scythe needed, and a blade frenzy. I was only able to do half the bomb's HP with 2 stacked aerial scythes, 2 10-stack scythes, and blade frenzy. So that's where I'm getting this about 3 to 5 times HP increase on bombs, because it does feel like they definitely increased it by anywhere from 3 to 5 times. And they fixed the leaderboard, as well as, we'll probably get into it, but they also fixed the reset scroll for RK9 Hard. You can use the reset scroll. And then they made a change to the Vanguard Initiative points. So when you complete hard mode once, it drops extra Vanguards. Instead of it dropping the 1 point and the 5 point Vanguards, it's going to drop combinations of 10, 25, 50, and 100. They will now be stacked, so you won't have like, you know, 10 10s in your inventory, 3 100s. You'll have it all stacked in its proper order. And they originally said that it wasn't going to be a shared item. The devs, I guess, you know, were open to communication, and I don't know if they just talked between themselves about this. I did not actually bring it up. I was considering bringing it up eventually to them, but I was curious to see afterwards how different it really was going to be, and they just decided that that wasn't worth the due to people. If people are completing this content, everyone in the group should get the rewards equally, and that is what they are going to do. So if you do complete a hard mode 1 dungeon, you do not have to worry about your Vanguard points that drop on the floor being split to the team. Everyone will get them. So if one person picks up 100 Vanguard points, everyone in that group picks up 100 Vanguard points, and I'm really glad that they decided to go this route, because over the past years of TERA's history, there's been rewards that don't do this, and I've always said it was a horrible mistake. You know, I've told them, you know, card boxes in the beginning not being shared was a bad idea, and of course there wasn't communication as much back then with players and developers. Now there's a lot more communication, and I'm glad that they did keep it the way it should be, in my opinion, because, you know, you want teams to grow together, and even if you're not playing in a static, I feel like it's even more of a punch in the face personally, because if you're playing in LFGs and you're seeing someone you hardly run with get all the Vanguard points, like, that's gonna be really hurtful, and that's not gonna be that way anymore. And I'm glad they're not doing it that way, because I remember card boxes was just terrible in the beginning, and trust me, it's gotten a lot better. I'm actually gonna present an idea to the devs very soon about a concept to hopefully make card boxes even more better, and hopefully they take it and go with it. But yeah, you know, it being a group thing is the right thing to do, and honestly, that, you know, it's just a good thing. So I'm glad they recognize that and they are moving forward with stuff. And then the last bug fix was, yes, the reset scroll not working. It works, and leaderboards will display the correct Arcane time. Now, if you are looking to do a leaderboard run and get your time up there, all 3 bosses have to be completed in Hard 1. You cannot complete Boss 1 and Boss 3 in Hard 1 and not Boss 2. I don't see why people would skip Boss 2. He seems to be the easiest. At least that's how I feel. You can let me know in the comment section down below which boss you feel is the easiest. But personally, I think 2nd and 3rd are easier, and 1st is just the most annoying because of the bombs. Even when being able to break them, it's a major stop in DPS to go and do bombs, or even skipping them. You gotta sometimes run away from the boss, so it's a loss of DPS either way. So yeah, I don't know. I just think the first one's the hardest. He's the most annoying with that kind of stuff. Everyone, or the other 2 are a bit easier, but that is the major changes. I will say I did speak to the dev about the crit resist on bosses. I know a lot of people are worried that play ninjas and sorks, and I'm hoping I can share this. I don't see why the dev wouldn't want me to share this. I won't go into too much detail, but don't worry, they are wanting it that high, and they are considering doing class balance to adjust to make sure classes like ninjas aren't getting lost in the dust. So with that, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed. If you have, go ahead and hit the like button. Consider subscribing for more TERA Console content. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic day and or night. And I hope to see you in Aboria, gamers.